Hello there all you absolutely magnificent people, and welcome back to another episode of An Ecologist Plays, where we talk about nature while playing games. My name is Will, and as you can see we are back in Empires of the Undergrowth, back with the ants. So today we are going to do a bit of an old world versus new world experiment. Let's jump right in, shall we? On the surface it appears as though we are just playing as little black ants, but that is not actually what is happening. Now we are, of course, back in the South American rainforests here, and let us suppose that we have got our army ants right over here, and you can see these two over here actually the army ant colonies. I have set it up that they have got the little black ants as the base, and then of course the army ant media and major ants. But we, and AI player 2 over here, are actually Dorylus nigricans. We are the black driver ants. The Dorylus species, they come from Africa, they do not occur in South America. They are basically the old world equivalent of the new world army ants. So where we have got in South and Central America, we've got the army ants, the Eceton genus in this case in particular. We are playing as the Dorylus genus, Dorylus nigricans, that is to be precise what we are playing as. And we are going to just be a whole bunch, technically a whole bunch of nomadic ants. But the driver ants technically would stay in an area for longer before moving on. They also do form, both of these do form massive colonies. I believe the Dorylus species actually forms larger colonies than the Eceton army ants would. But let us see who comes out on top, shall we? We are of course going to disable upkeep because we want massive raiding columns. That is what we want. And the rest of it we are going to keep as is. We are going to leave Fog of War off here because we actually do want to see what everybody else is doing in the amongst the other colonies. So let us jump right in, shall we? Let's see who comes out on top. Old world army ants versus new world army ants. And here we are. Let us just immediately start digging out some food here and a path straight to the exit to the overworld. And let us see what is happening outside as well. Alright, so we are located right at the top here. Okay, that's actually quite an alright space to be. We've got a whole bunch of aphids over here. That's going to be a constant source of food. This is actually quite good. This is actually very, very good. We're just going to start excavating some areas for us to actually continue building later on. But we just have to get rid of this rove beetle there, and Eddie's dead already. Okay, great stuff. And now let us quickly go get some food on the overworld here. Of course, as always, this is the most vulnerable part of the whole experience. The point where we are just starting out, and yeah, we are trying to find enough food to survive, but everything and anything can kill us. And we may be making a mistake by actually exploring this far to the left here, to the west, to come and get some aphids. There is a jumping spider right over there, and we may be screwed. We may indeed be screwed. Okay, now, oh, he is really feeding on our line there. Come on, go away, jumping spider, go away. Actually, or maybe some of us actually will make it back to the nest. We just need to make it back to the nest with some food. This is very, very dangerous for us. There's even a trapjaw ant over there, Odontomachus bowery, also doing its thing. Okay, we definitely need better ants. We need our media because these jumping spiders are really becoming a nuisance. So let's plop down one of those. And let's just excavate this area over here for a bit more food. We definitely need a few strong... Oh, goodness. Okay, 3 rove beetle larvae. Okay, hopefully we can swarm them. I think we can. I think we should be able to overwhelm them with our numbers. That's what driver ants are all about. It's numbers. More so even than army ants. And army ants are famous for, you know, numbers. And another chamber. This is probably going to be a velvet worm. Yeah, there we go. That is indeed a velvet worm. Whoops-a-daisy. Velvet worms can be lethal, but I think with our numbers we've got here, I think we should be able to, especially now with the media there of our driver ant, it's just very, very quickly making short work of it in essence. And here we go, another chamber to clear. Oh, goodness me, this is problematic. We've got a whole bunch of velvet worms over here. Notice there, of course, how it sprays that slime, and it does that so quickly. Beginning of this year, one of my students had a velvet worm on her fingers, and yeah, it just, oh, goodness, okay, it is, they're all coming. Listen. We've got some problems here. Everybody just quickly stay here by our queen. Protect the queen. Fortunately, we've got no more food. Oh dear. This may be the end of our nest. I mined too deep and greedily. Charge, my little ones, charge. Yeah, I think we are dead. I think we are doomed. Okay. Now, we have got one potential saving grace. I do have the fact that all these eggs will hatch momentarily when the queen drops down to 75%. And there we go. Everybody's hatching. Swarm, swarm, get rid of all these velvet worms. We may as well, use this to our advantage. And I think that's it. Goodness me. Will, stop being so dangerous. Now let's see here. These guys over here, they're just making the small little black ants, of course. The typical little workers. And I figured that is what they would be doing. These guys, you're also just making the little black workers. And these guys also just... Oh, wait, there we go. They actually have... I think they've got the army ants. So we've got some army ant media over here. Oh, that's great to see. Okay, we've got enough food to place down, I think, 2 of these. Actually, we should be able to place 3. And also... There are some bringing food here. Get 3 and get them to hatch. Come on, there we go. Get rid of that jumping spider. Finally, we are the captains now. Yeah, the rove beetle here also standing no chance against our driver ant media. Now we are starting to become a force to be reckoned with. We are just removing all the insects from the plants and things over here. Now, interesting, they did a study in West Africa, in Ghana, and they showed that diversity of insects overall, and ants as well, was higher in... Oh, and these guys are trying to raid us. Naughty. Was highest in conservation areas that are relatively undisturbed. And, that actually makes sense. But they also showed that the Dorylus, the old world army ants, the driver ants, are more abundant, in numbers in the disturbed farmland than they are in conservation areas. So they do love disturbed environments, which is actually very different from the army ants, because there have also been studies that showed the army ants don't do very well if there is a lot of disturbance. They need large areas of forest for them to actually do their thing, to actually get enough food in order to survive, to do their raids that they normally do. The Dorylus, these driver ants of ours here, they can actually do very well even in disturbed environments. They can still get enough food. What we're just going to continue doing is expanding our driver ant media over here. And now technically what we are doing is we are doing raids in areas. So we are feeding on everything we technically can. Now let's just say instead of feeding on the honeydew here, we are actually killing the aphids and bringing them back to our nest. They may feed on honeydew, but really what they specialize in feeding on would be actual insect prey. So even though we do have some seeds down here and our little black ants can feed on that, we are not going to be feeding on that. We are sticking to invertebrate prey, like this katydid over here trying to bite at us with its ferocious little jaws, and of course it's got very, very spiny legs as a nice defense mechanism. Even that is not enough. The Dorylus ants are moving. Okay, how are these guys doing? They are kind of, I think, really starting to fight with one another. Yeah, these guys were going over to this colony, and this colony was going over to this colony. And there are some army ants coming through to this colony. Everybody is going everywhere else except us. We are just sticking, to where we are. Okay, it seems the army ants are really determined to do something. Except that they've got a funnel web spider that is intercepting them as they are trying to get to this driver ant nest over here. Of course, the army ants, they wouldn't be making a nest like this. They would be having a living bivouac as a nest, so a nest made up of bodies. That's usually at the base of a big tree, but in the driver ant cases, yes, they do excavate nests. So they would have nests similar to our one over here. Well, we actually now have a whole bunch of aphids that have plopped down very, very close to our nest, so this should actually be marvelous. Should be getting a lot of food from them right over here. Okay, let's see. Something's happening over here. In the dark, under cover of night. What are you guys doing? Who's going where? Okay, you guys, I believe, are trying to raid this nest over here. Okay, you are driver ants. Okay, looks as though this is a driver ant nest right over here. So yellow is driver ants, green army ants. Interesting, army ants without actual army ant media or mages. And then these guys blue, also army ants. But these army ants are doing moderately poorly, I think. They just haven't been able to break through, really. Every time they try to make a raid over here, there are bigger and badder enemies that are taking them down. It really is. Very often it is luck of the draw. Now, interesting, we as the driver ants, we are generalists. Now, the army ants also kind of generalist feeders, but the army ants will have a larger proportion of their diet consisting or including the young of other social insects. So, for example, termites and ants. Whereas we as the driver ants have less of that as part of our food intake. So what we are doing here is literally just going for anything we can, but we are not going to go raid the other ant species for their young. Not really. Whereas the army ants over here, well, that is really part of their strategy. So these poor guys over here, so these poor girls over here, which I think are actually the driver ants if I'm not mistaken, they've got army ants coming up from above, and they've got army ants coming from over here as well to take them out. To feed on them in essence. So what we now have to do is we've got to increase the number of minor workers that we have, because generally there are far more minor workers in a colony like this than there are media workers or major workers. So before we can even build our major workers over here, we really need to increase the amount of minor workers that are busy working in our colony. They are doing their thing. We're also at the same time going to actually increase these ones in strength by just, upgrading them. And they can now join our foraging trail above here. Oh dear, who's attacking whom? Okay, these little ants, little black ants, these are the driver ants, I believe, are moving to go take out, it seems, the army ants at the top here. And yet they are using none of the... They're just using workers. They are just using their little workers to go and try and take out the army ants. Unfortunately, I think the army ants are... that's, I think, their whole army. That's not an army, that's like barely even a little squadron. Just keeping an eye on them. If they do start heading to the north, we are going to respond accordingly. But yeah, you can see really a raiding column, even though that's food. Okay, I thought maybe they're actually taking young already, but no, those are caterpillars that they are carrying around. Even though they don't actually have the proper... Ooh, our ant stores are full again, our food stores, great. So let's just, spend all of it. Enemy royal guard has been summoned. Okay, someone is in danger. I'm guessing it's these girls over here. The army ants, maybe, or... It's the driver ants down here. But I think they're all coming to me now. So what we are going to do is just have our army meeting them right over here. Or getting ready at least to take them on. Yeah, here they come. They are heading into our nest. The driver... Oh, no, it's our driver ants, those. Never mind. But yeah, these driver ants are coming into... Or trying to, but no. Not gonna make it. Don't start none, and there will be none. Okay, so they thought better of it. Good, 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 good. The army ants are still alive. These driver ants, I believe, are still alive. Everybody's still alive. Oof, okay. I'm not sure how long this colony will still be alive, because look at that. Those driver ants are just going in and wiping them out. Now, of course, being nomadic, these guys can go in and wipe out their colonies, the rival colonies over here, and feed on them, and then just move away into a different area, and then later on come back. Very different to, for example, the Matabele ants, which usually don't wipe out their feeder colony. Oh, this one has been wiped out, I do believe. I do believe the driver ants over here have just been destroyed. That leaves one army ant and one driver ant colony as the rivals to this army ant colony over here. Okay, now this is interesting. We've got a bit of a problem here. We've got only our little workers here. They are all tier 3, but they've got to stand their ground against a rove beetle over here. Let's see if they actually can defeat it. I highly doubt it. Yeah, they will of course be chased away by the noxious chemicals. They're killed by the noxious chemicals. Their goodness me. But yeah, these guys definitely at the bottom here. These army ants definitely are main competitors. They are coming through again. I'm not sure where they're heading. Are they heading to the army ant colony over here? Maybe the two army ant colonies here will actually clash. Now normally army ants tend to just avoid one another. If there is an army ant colony in one area, the other army ants won't go there. They tend to space themselves out quite nicely across the landscape. But in this case, they are really fighting with one another. I think this colony at the top here is probably going to be the one that gets wiped out next, the blue colony up here. They actually have spent resources on making army ant media, I think majors as well. But this army ant nest over here, which have basically just been making the silly little black ant workers, they are definitely doing the best of all. Enemy royal guard summoned. I guess that'll be these guys as well, trying to survive, trying to repel the invaders. They're not in a good space. Okay, we have just accidentally opened up another chamber over here, a chamber full of secrets. We're just going to have to repel this big rove beetle over here. Glocchionoceros fulgens is no match for our level 3 driver ants. These army ants over here are relentless. They are now going to try and wipe out this rival colony up there. Although, yeah, even, wow, this is also still part of them. I thought this is the army ant colony up here doing something in return, but no, I think these girls over here are screwed. And that does, of course, mean that we are next. So we've got to build up our defenses. So what we are going to do, as soon as we have enough food, is we are going to plop down our large driver ant soldiers, our mages. There we go, our first one coming in now. And our driver ants just doing a bit of a raid here against the caterpillars, just quickly collecting them and taking them all back to the nest. Even though these caterpillars here, the swallowtail most likely, relatives of the swallowtail butterflies, even though their little young ones, their caterpillars resemble bird droppings and very often actually give off the scent of bird droppings as well, they are no match for our driver ants. We just found them and took them in as food. Oh, look at that! The army ants are actually doing something. Not much, but they're doing something. They've got their media. I believe these are the media. Yeah, these are indeed the media. They've got their media mobilizing for war, and then some miners as well. And some extra teeny miners as well. Mobilizing for war, going off to go die in a glorious blaze. Right over here on the land bridge. Okay. Kind of doing what they would do in real life, just kind of running past one another. This is actually quite strange to see. Is anybody going to attack them? No? I guess not. So strange. You guys do know that, you girls do know that these are just going to go and attack your colony now, right? Oh, I think those ones just came and steal the aphids from over here to translocate them closer to the nest. Because these ones down here had a lot of aphids. I think 11 aphids on this milkweed plant over here. And well, now there are none. I must say, the constant stream of food. Oh, enemy roll guard summoned again. Again, probably these army ants over here, because look at those ones streaming in to take them out. Now these aphids over here, this constant supply of food over here and also over here, really has been, it's been the saving grace for us, because it has allowed us to actually build up quite a nice army. And again, just goes to show the value of a constant supply of food that you can protect. Now it is slightly different from what these ants actually would be doing. They would actually not, have a constant supply of food. They would go out and go raid to get more food. Interesting that this poor colony is still holding on. One way or another, it is still holding on. It does bring up an interesting question. What is better? A lot of weaker units or a few smaller units? And we are going to put that to the test as this upside down jumping spider is moving around there. Really a very, very strong ant carrying that jumping spider around. But we are going to put it to the test when we move against this colony down here. Because we are going to bring our entire army to the fore. And a lot of them are going to be nice and strong. Level 3 mages and level 3 media. And are you guys... No, you're not moving against me, are you? I think you are. Yeah. Everybody back into the nest, please. We've got our mages just here waiting for them. You know what? Let's bring them all to the fore, shall we? I mean, look at this army. This army, it's nice. Lots of nice big driver ants here. Of course, being actually quite blind. But these mages, they are there to protect the young, the small workers, to protect them against threats. Now, I'm currently wondering what would happen if we actually mobilize our troops against this army ant colony down here that has been doing so well and hammering this poor colony over here. Would that allow this army ant colony to actually do a bit better? Because it may experience what we call competitive release, because it's been spending a lot of energy and resources trying to resist invasion by the other army ant colony down here, and trying to not be destroyed by this army ant colony down here. So is it now actually going to do something and actually start taking on this colony as well, or maybe take on us if we hammer this colony a bit more and give this colony a bit of a reprieve? I guess we'll have to find out in a moment. I'm just building up my strength a bit more here. Unfortunately, these aphids are no longer here, which means we now do have to move and actually go and harvest some food over here. And hopefully we are not attacked by a whole bunch of these army ants down here. Oh, suddenly they are not doing anything either, really. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There's a major over there. That major is of the northeastern colony. That's of the blue colony right there. It's actually taking on the other ones. Oh, it's just come to steal. It's come to steal the aphids. Oh, but yeah, now it's going to be screwed. Yeah, I don't think it's going to survive. It is dead. Okay. Well. Okay, and here come these majors. So these army ants are now also moving. This is interesting. This is now a fierce battle here between our driver ants and the army ants over here. We are trying to exclude them from this spot where we are feeding. And yeah, I think we did. I think we did a good job there. There's a trapjaw ant coming along as well. Okay, unfortunately now these guys are mobilizing. I think they are heading out to go and destroy this army ant colony over here. And unfortunately they have just lost some of their majors, you know, trying to steal the aphids over here. They also lost quite a bit trying to come through here while we were busy feeding here. And now, yeah, now, oh, there's a bit of a clash on the bridge here, on the land bridge. Well, it does seem like the one with the stronger ants, they are holding out, but not enough. I think in this case, they're all level 1 and 2, mostly level 1. There is a level 3 little black ant in there, but there's a lot of weak ones, and it seems they're actually doing better than fewer stronger ones. Okay, we are just going to move our mages over here to intercept any of these little black ants coming along here, any of these army ants coming along over here. You're not going to gather food, you are just going to stand and fight. That is your purpose. Now, the reason these guys are not harvesting any food is I don't want them harvesting any plant material. I don't want them harvesting any of this. Oh, there is a massive velvet worm. Yeah, shall we go for that, or do we just leave it? It's currently just... Oh, it's actually heading over more to the little the ant colony over here. You know what, go do your thing. Not sure what that ant of ours is doing, but okay. Oh, there's a big whoop spider. Okay. We are going to have to fight this now. Also going over here. Okay, these guys... There is invasion by the army ants to the southwest. They are invading again. I think they'll be fine. And of course there is a big whip spider over here. And it is also dead now. Now it looks as though the colony to the south here. Okay, I was just about to say they're no longer invading along here because we have been protecting this highway, but it seems now they are back. Let's actually come down to the bridge here. As soon as they come over this land bridge, we try to take them out. We've got fewer soldiers, but we've got big, strong soldiers. Tier 3. Well, Tier 2, okay. Tier 1 and Tier 2 major, driver ant majors here. Yeah, I don't think these little black ants stand a chance against us here. Which makes it all the more strange that they are battling, that this colony up here, this army ant colony is battling against so many little black ant workers. And there's a bit more of a clash here again between us and the army ants up here, but we have chased them away. And again a clash here between our driver ants and the army ants to the south. We're just in constant battle with everybody around us. Oh, there's another tailless whoop spider coming along. I really do love these guys. Look at that. That is just a magnificent arachnid. Oh, I would love to see one of these again. They are such cool creatures. I've only ever really seen... I think I've only ever seen a shed. I've never actually seen a living one of these. But I mean, look at that first pair of legs. So nice and spindly and antennae form. Basically, functioning like an antenna. This is just amazing. And of course, very, very flat if you look at this. Perfectly adapted for hiding in little rock cracks. Of course, if it were a big plump arachnid, it would not be able to hide in little cracks, but being quite flattened as it is, well, it is able to actually hide quite nicely in little rock cracks. We're just going to bring our main army to the fore here, just to come and remove this threat from our path, from our feeding path. Doing a little bit more what our driver ants would do, come out in numbers and attack, kind of doing a raid. And then, of course, we're just going to bring our soldiers back to protect this land bridge, because look what is coming along over here. Actually, I think these ants are coming for us. I do think so. Well now. Yeah, I do wish you the best of luck in the wars to come. Because, well, we've got a lot of nice, strong mages right over here. It does seem that in this case, at least, if you've got enough big soldiers here, you can have fewer than the enemy and still be able to withstand their assault. Even if they have 10 times as many little ones as you have. We're also under attack by these army ants over here because we are coming into their feeding grounds. Apparently some of our major soldiers are trying to push the advantage. You know what? Let's actually bring part of our army to the fore. The larger part of our driver and army are coming through. We're going to do a raid against this army and colony down here. That is what we are going to do now. Slowly but surely we are inching forward, and I want to see whether these army ants up here now do better once we remove this threat. Because, well, they should. Oh, there's something extra big. Oh, that is a lovely emperor scorpion down there. Not really occurring in South America, but, you know, we'll give this a pass. Okay, I think the ants are going to war. These ladies are ready. They're itching for a fight. This army ant colony up here, it's still alive. I think it really is just barely breathing, though. They're moving against someone. I'm not sure against whom. Whether that is against me or the army ants down here. Regardless, yeah, here we come. We are just going to quickly get rid of the army that is above here, and then we're going to invade the nest. Let's see, they do outnumber us. They really, really outnumber us, and we are quite far from our nest. So, if we lose a lot of individuals, we are not going to make it. But we are invading. We are going down to their nest. Let's see here. Sure, massive amount down here. Let's see whether we are actually able to make a dent here. A few stronger individuals versus many more weaker opponents. You see, here we go. Our mages are really coming in as well. Sure. This is very interesting. You just hear that popping sound of all the eggs, new individuals hatching and swarming forth. They've got nice big... Well, they've got a lot of ones they can actually hatch. This is amazing. And yet we are making progress. There are a lot of us dying and a lot of reinforcements coming in. But the whole idea now is for us to actually exhaust their food supplies. And I think we are doing that. Look, we are losing a lot. And these are just our mages, are the last ones that are still alive. And I think we are just... Oh, there we go. Our reinforcements are just coming in as the last of our mages over here are hammered. It is also depleting our resources, so I'm not sure whether we'd be able to then actually go and invade the other nest as well. But ho ho ho. The thing is that when we actually get to the queen here, she's going to summon the royal guard as well. Okay, but our army is coming in. Our army is doing its best over here. And in the meantime, we're also being supplied constantly with food. So we're not ever going to run out of food. There we go, just constantly having new individuals streaming through. We've got a lot of little workers here bringing eggs to the chambers. There we go, just bringing them in, taking care of them, feeding them. They're growing and they're hatching eventually. Lovely. How are things going over here? Oh, that's our last one that actually survived. Oh, there we go, new one's coming in. Now, what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly get up here. Just get our forces together. For some reason, our ants are not strong enough to break through. We need to be in larger numbers. We're just too few against too many. We need more to actually break through. Okay, I think it's time. I think it's time. Let's head in, shall we? Let's break their army over here and break through. And we are heading in. You know what? I think this is going to be it. I think this is indeed going to be it. They have basically run out of food. Every now and again they are bringing in some food and some new eggs hatch, but I think this colony is basically screwed. Yeah, there we go, the Royal Guards. Royal Guard has been summoned and our Aurelius is running around quite confused. I believe these are the Weaver Ants, if I'm not mistaken. These little black ants do summon the Weaver Ants as their Royal Guard. And now, of course, the whole army has been summoned. Every egg has hatched. So this is a lot of, suddenly, a whole bunch of workers that we are contending against. Let's just stop their food supply. We don't want them getting any new any food to actually replenish their numbers with. Oh, it looks as though some of the army ants are trying to invade us. Trying being the operative word. Come on, really? You want to do that? You really want to do that? I guess they want to do that. The army ants are trying to attack us, but now we've got a whole bunch of our soldiers that are replacing the dead ones in the green nest there. Yeah, they just annihilated them. How are things going here? I think this is the end of this army ant colony. Really interesting that they've just built these little black ants, their nests. And there she is. She is dead. Now, what's the point of doing this if we don't go for the spoils of war? Now, I did say that these Dorylus ants don't have a large component of their intake consisting of other social insects like termites and ants, but they do occasionally go for it. Just because they don't go for it a lot doesn't mean they don't go for it at all. They are generalists and they are opportunists. They see food, they go for the food. Now, technically, these ones should be doing better now because they are not constantly being hammered by the colony down here. But somehow I also doubt they are going to do better now. Now, we have a new squadron of aphids over here that we could technically be using as a food resource, but we're not going to because between our nest and it, we've also got seeds over here, and I don't want our ants actually taking in any plant matter. We have to feed on invertebrate food. Now, there is a species of presumably almost entirely herbivorous Dorylus, the Dorylus orientalis. They are actually considered quite a pest in agriculture, mostly because, well, they will be feeding on a lot of vegetable matter, and some say that they may be exclusively herbivorous. Now, the verdict isn't out yet, but it does appear as though the army ants over here are suddenly doing much better. They really are experiencing that competitive release, now that they are no longer really fighting another species. So there's that reduced competition. Now suddenly they are doing a little bit better. Now, the thing is, now they're going to hammer themselves against us, and we are quite a formidable opponent over here. Now, let's see. They've got, again, larger numbers, but technically should be weaker individuals than our mages over here. So let's see. I don't think any of them are going to come past. No, they are screwed. Interesting that the Pandinus Imperator over here, the Emperor Scorpion, is just kind of chilling in the sun here. Really wouldn't be out in the sun in the daylight. They would be lying under rocks and just kind of hiding away. Definitely would not be out in the open. But this one is just kind of chilling over there. A beautiful, beautiful creature. Oh my word. Oh, and look at that. They are... Oh, no, they're going back again. Doing a bit of a raid. Lovely to see the army ants actually here behaving like army ants. Heading out in a direction with a smallish army in this case. Doing their thing and then heading back to the colony. And same here. Forming this line of ants. Just going to go and collect some food and then taking it back. And look at this. This is now our entire army ready to go to war. So, well, almost all of them ready to go to war. There are a few of these minor ones over here that they will be making their way up to the north. And look at that. We've got a clash that's going to happen very, very soon, because there are even some major army ants over here. That is lovely. So we, as the Old World army ants, coming from Africa and the rest of the Old World, Dorylus, we are going to be facing off against the New World army ants, the Essaton army ants from South and Central America. Of course, it's called Old World versus New World because Old World here is the known world before the Americas were discovered by the Europeans. Of course, the Vikings had gotten there long before that, but we work with Old World versus New World in that sense of the term. Right, I think we're all ready to join group number 1. We're not going to be collecting any food, we are just going to war. Let us, under cover of night, head out to war. Let us end this, hopefully, once and for all. And here we go. The column is heading off. We've got miners, we've got media, we've got major workers, all of them heading over to the army ants, and we are going to show them that just because the other army ants have been destroyed, does not mean that they are going to have an easy time now. Heading in, of course, first clash right outside the nest here. They are going to be swarming out there. They come swarming out to defend their nest. Army ants are very aggressive, especially when it comes to defending their bivouac, their living nest. Now, in this case, of course, they've got the underground nest, but unfortunately, really no match for us. We are just going to easily steamroll over them. We've got the numbers, we've got the strength, and we are just going to come invade them very quickly. Of course, they do have a few of these little black ants workers' nests over there, and they've got quite a few army ant chambers as well. They really were getting up to speed here. But unfortunately, too little, too late. We're just going to fight our way through the nest here, get over to the queen and end her reign once and for all. And along the way, get rid of all her daughters. But shame, this colony, they've survived the onslaught of the other army ants. Survived, barely survived, and now we are just coming in to finish it all off. Now, of course, the queen here actually kind of resembling what the queen would look like with army ants, because the queen is also relatively mobile in army ants. So yeah, they actually are able to move with the rest of the colony when they're migrating. It's an ergotoid queen, meaning that she can move and kind of actually even hunt. But there we go, we have destroyed her, unfortunately. Shame. And we are the last queen standing. Now, next time, we're going to do something interesting. I have a new series planned for Empires of the Undergrowth, and it involves the remix. We are going to go through the missions that we play in story mode, but instead of playing as the species that we normally play as, we are going to be playing as our Ereptor colony, but only using ants that we have actually encountered in previous levels. So I'll explain a bit more about that next time. Of course, on Friday, we've got another Monster Hunter World video coming out. And then on Sunday, I do believe, I will be streaming a bit more of Pax Augusta, trying to build our eco-friendly Roman city, despite it being actually surprisingly difficult to do so. So if you've got any questions or comments, please pop it down in the comments below. And of course, as always, do all those things that everybody always asks of you. Like, subscribe, comment, and share all those lovely things. And until next time, everybody, stay safe. I'll see you all soon. Cheers!